It was just the beginning of 2018 when the man was hailed as a bold young reformer during his first international visit with stops in Cairo, London, and New York. Media outlets were filled with news about the pomp and the red carpet surrounding his tour.
Bin Salman, of course, we know when he came into power, he was spending millions, if not billions, on public relations companies, over and over again. And so, you had Mr. Friedman and lots of other people who wrote all manner of ridiculous articles praising Bin Salman to the skies, as if like this is the second coming of, I don't know, in their minds like the Buddha or something, I don't know. They think he's the second coming and he's the most wonderful person on earth.
And favorable Western commentators' reviews tried to gloss his image and press his credentials on a wary global stage. Advertisements praising the controversial figure blanketed the cities in an apparent bid to woo the ordinary citizens. Back in March, almost no one could predict that the year comes to end with Bin Salman getting back into the spotlight, this time as a rogue and unpredictable dictator and a threat to the world's stability. It was just a matter of a few months before MBS's actions shifted focus from his desired image as the desert's progressive reformer to the real and darker side of his records. Jamal Ahmad Khashoggi, the Saudi citizen once close to the House of Saud, entered the regime's consulate in Istanbul on 20th October in peace, and his body left the diplomatic mission in pieces hours later. Reports suggest that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman personally ordered an operation against Khashoggi, which consequently led to his murder inside the Saudi diplomatic compound. Evidence published by the Turkish authorities also point a finger at bin Salman's elite close protection unit, who had arrived in Istanbul on the same day, only to leave Turkish soil hours later. As the gory details emerged, the so-called reformer felt the heat, trying to distance himself from the atrocity.
The crime was really painful to all Saudis, and I believe it is painful to every human in the world. It is a heinous crime that cannot be justified. Today, Saudi Arabia is carrying out all legal things to finalize the investigations, to cooperate with the Turkish government, and to present the perpetrators to the court and take their judgment. This is the expected thing that all governments would do once they see a crime.
However contradictory to MBS's initial feelings, he is now waking up to the fact that getting away with murder might be harder than getting away with lies. Some even speculate that wheels are in motion to replace him with someone compatible with the West.
What if the Crown Prince were to say, when they try to get him out, you know what, I ain't going anywhere, and a pox on all of your houses, and if you mess with me too much, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure I change the price of oil worldwide and create an economic, catastrophe worldwide.
Well, he could begin to try that. However, I think that the wheels are already in motion to try and replace MBS with someone who is more compatible with the West. Already we have Congress, Lindsey Graham, saying that he's got to go.
The The same influential figures who raced to Riyadh months ago are nowhere to be seen now, and the Saudi king's most favorite son among his 13 children has already fallen from favor in the latest dramatic turn in his not-so-long life. But why? During his almost 18 months since he was elevated as the crown prince, he has moved with unbridled aggression both domestically and internationally, and almost in all cases he has been able to escape the consequences thanks to a wide range of apologists with presidents and prime ministers, senators and CEOs, TV anchors, op-ed columnists and many more among them. It is no more a hidden fact that the so-called political revolutionary, social reformer or Muslim moderate is in fact the architect of the Yemen war, which is already singled out by the United Nations as a clear case of crime against humanity. Even under international norms and conventions, Saudi Arabia's so-called progressive figure could be prosecuted for committing a crime against humanity when it comes to Khashoggi's brutal murder. The International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance defines enforced disappearance in certain circumstances as a crime against humanity. The Saudi regime is the signatory of the declaration, which was adopted by the General Assembly of the United Nations in its Resolution 47/133 of 18th December 1992. The case also breaches Saudi's responsibilities, which are asserted in the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations and Optional Protocols 1965.
A consulate, this is a consulate. People go to consulate to obtain papers, to renew passports, to get certificates of certain things. I mean, if the Saudi consulate can turn into this, then probably other consulates of similar regimes might do it. And if they can do it in a consulate, they'll probably next time contemplate doing it in the streets, or in the road.
Inside the corridors of Washington, the man was until recently regarded as a unique figure behind dramatic reforms in Saudi Arabia. But the trope is not new.
Really, if he wants to truly reform Saudi Arabia and really be a reformer, he needs to dismantle the state and call for, free and fair elections, and then maybe free people from the prisons that are there illegally, and then maybe we can call him a reformer. But right now, no, he's just a terrorist, and he's like I've called the Saudi regime. They're like Daesh in formal wear, they're like ISIL in formal wear, and they're given acceptance by the world. So he's neither a rogue nor a reformer, he's just a psychopathic terrorist.
During the 1920s and 1930s, Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin, and even Adolf Hitler looked to Americans like just what their countries needed to get them into shape. During the Cold War, leaders including the Philippines' Ferdinand Marcos, Iran's Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, South Korea's Park Chung-hee, and Chile's Augusto Pinochet took turns as the United States' favorite modernizing dictators. The same fate seems to be the most probable scenario for the naive, arrogant prince.
His legacy is one of a very, very dark patch in the history of the region, and I believe that he is the harbinger, if you like, the harbinger of the end of the Saudi family's occupation of Arabia.